One of the current liabilities that we all tend to fall into the trap of is interest. And interest accrues on a daily basis. And there's various ways of computing interest, and that's what I'd like to talk about now. There's simple interest, and simple interest says you take the principal or the amount of the note times the interest rate times the time. So say you borrow $3,000 at 12% interest for 1 year. That means 3,000 times 12% times 12/12. You will owe interest of $360. The maturity value, meaning when you repay that note in 1 year, is going to be the interest, the simple interest of $360, plus the principal amount, $3,000, and so you'll repay $33.60. That's the maturity value, or what's due, the principal plus the interest. Now, here's where it gets fun. Sometimes they'll say, well, we'll charge you interest, but we're going to compound it, meaning that they compute the amount of interest at certain points. So what if this interest is compounded semi-annually? Here's what happens. You'll start paying interest on your interest. So 3,000, 12% compounded semi-annually means I'm going to figure out the interest for 6/12, or half a year, which is $180. Then what happens is that $180, because you haven't paid it yet, gets included in the principal. So now your principal is $3,180, 12% compounded semi-annually, another half of the year. So the second half of the year, you're going to pay $190.80 of interest. That means when you get to repay that note of $3,000, you're going to have a maturity value of $3,370.80. So notice how compounding compounds the amount you have to pay at maturity. Now, here's an interesting point. If instead I compounded on a quarterly basis, in other words, computed that interest and added it to principal 4 times during the year, you know what the maturity value would be? It would be $3,378. So notice, it's getting worse. And if it's compounded monthly, which a lot of people do, or a lot of businesses do, your maturity value, or what you would have to repay, is $3,381. So beware of the fine print when looking at interest. Simple interest, lots of commercial customers get that. People who have money get this. For the rest of us, you can be compounding semi-annually, quarterly, or monthly and paying interest on your interest.